Hi guys, and welcome back to Planets and Problems, the astrology podcast by two girls who are not astrologists. I'm Atalia.
And I'm Ayesha.
And I'm a Sagittarius.
And I'm a Virgo.
And this is not an astrology episode.
No, it's not. It's a lucid dream episode.
Lucid dreaming, our fave topic.
Yeah, she's in pyjamas.
Because it's dream vibes.
It's dream vibes. And we're both in Christmassy stuff because it is actually Christmas at this time.
I have been for the past 2 weeks.
Great.
Okay, Christmas started.
Christmas has started. So yeah, we'll start off with a dream affirmation. It's so funny because I get these affirmations and then I cannot remember them.
Oh.
But I write them down when I just come across affirmations as the weeks go on.
Yeah.
I just write them down as I see them, and then when it comes to it, I look at it 5 times and can't remember it. Okay, so this is one for me. I love all these affirmations are for me. They're literally all for me, as in they're about my experience. So basically the affirmation is, my dreams are created by me and I am in control. So that can be an affirmation that you use before you go to sleep if you get scary dreams, but also for lucid dreaming.
That is literally that's not even a dream affirmation, that is a lucid dreaming affirmation.
Yeah, because you're in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that. Tell yourself before you go to sleep. Okay, so tell me, what is lucid dreaming?
What is lucid dreaming? Well, in my opinion, lucid dreaming is where you become conscious in a dream. So you're asleep, you're in the dream, and then you basically wake up, but you don't wake up in real life, you wake up inside the dream, and then you are aware that you are in a dream. And because of that, you then basically have free will, if you want to call it, to make whatever decision that you want to make. People can do it to the point where they actually can change what's going on in the dream as well.
Okay, yeah, so you can change what you're doing, what other people are doing, the setting around you.
Yeah,
You're
that's
literally
what I mean.
just creating your own dream reality.
Yeah.
Which is insane, and if you've never done it, we can talk about how to as well.
We can talk about how to. Should we talk about pros and cons first though?
Yeah, let's go into the pros and cons of lucid dreaming. So there's a lot of debate as to whether lucid dreaming is actually healthy. What's your take on that?
I don't know much about it apart from the little bits that you've said. So I don't.
From your own experience,
from
do you
my
feel healthy? Have you noticed?
I don't do it enough for it to be unhealthy.
Right.
So I think maybe if you're doing it every single night, then it probably can't be healthy. There must be some sort of negative effect if that's the case. But I don't do it regularly enough.
Do you plan to do it, or is it just you just gain consciousness?
I used to plan to do it.
Right.
And now I gain consciousness. So now I'm not actively planning to lucid dream, but I did at one point. What...
Are you okay?
My question just wouldn't come out of my mouth. What's your take on it? Is it healthy, lucid dreaming?
For me personally, no.
Okay.
It's not. But so the pros and cons. Pros first. We've got the quite obvious pro. If you could choose to have any dream that you could, what type of dream are you going for? Sex dream. Sex dream. Hello.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So a massive pro is that you can literally just flip your dream or even nightmare into a full-on
gangbang.
Yeah. That's a major pro. That might even be worth all of it. Another pro is that people think that it makes you more creative, more open-minded. It makes you more it's basically tapping into a new type of consciousness.
Yeah.
To the point you can do it in your sleep. Some people think that it can make your anxiety better, because some people maybe with nightmares, you can literally just turn your nightmare into not being a nightmare anymore.
I was gonna say that one because that would probably be a big pro for me, and that is now when I lucid dream, that is mostly how I do it.
Yeah.
So I will be in a nightmare and the nightmare will get that crazy that I'm wait a minute, this isn't my life. this actually makes no sense. I was in bed. And then I become conscious, and then I can manipulate it however I want. So I think that is the biggest pro for me, is because I get a lot of bad dreams. Like most of my dreams, it's horrible, but most of my dreams are bad dreams.
Yeah. And then some people can even like be in a nightmare, lucid dream, and wake themselves up.
Yeah.
Which is ideal, right? The cons of lucid dreaming is that it can actually enhance anxiety. So some people think it can better your anxiety, some people think it can enhance your anxiety.
Why?
Because if you're not choosing to lucid dream and you're just gaining consciousness, now say if it is a nightmare, which I've experienced, where I've been in a nightmare and then I'm lucid dreaming and I can't wake myself up, or I might gain consciousness but then lose it again for a second, and it's like all of a sudden this isn't a nightmare. I don't just wake up and go, oh, that was a terrible nightmare. This is real, like I'm in it. And I can't wake myself up out of this lucid dream nightmare.
Yeah.
Which is god awful, because you wake up, or like sometimes I've had it where like you fall asleep, have a nightmare, gain consciousness, I'm in a lucid dream, I'm trying to get out of this nightmare, can't get out, think I've woken up, haven't actually woken up, I'm just in this cycle, and then I wake up so disorientated, and then like I'll go about my day and I can't remember what was real and what isn't. That
happened to me literally this week, where I was in a nightmare, was like, did the whole thing of, right, this is a dream, like what's going on here, this is not my life. I need to wake up. I just literally shout at myself to wake up, woke up, did a whole day in my life, but I was not awake.
Like, fuck that.
Right? And time was going by at a normal pace because I thought I'd woken up.
Yeah.
And then I literally did wake up and was like, what? And it just makes you really disorientated. So actually, yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that could enhance anxiety if that's happening to you regularly, because that's only happened to me a few times.
Yeah.
A few too many, but
yeah, it's not a great experience. That's one of the cons. Another one, let me just think. Another con is that you're not having the healthy sleep. Like you're not having like a healthy sleep, because let's face it, your consciousness is supposed to be resting during this time. So if it's not resting, then when is it resting?
Yeah.
And it's just not like healthy REM sleep that you should be like getting.
Yeah.
Which then can result in like insomnia, going about your day feeling drowsy, not doing your best throughout the waking hours.
Yeah, and obviously if that is happening to you like really regularly, that is when like it becomes a bit of a problem. Cool.
And then there's also some people that think that lucid dreaming is like you're being manipulated by the devil. So that's another con if you...
They think lucid dreaming's being manipulated. Why?
Because you're like, you're not supposed to be conscious during that time. Like we're not supposed to we're not supposed to lucid dream. Like, who knows? There's not enough research into it. Some people think that there's like more to it than like, oh, it's just a coincidence that some people can just gain consciousness in the dream.
So that's why people, there's, I don't know if we mentioned this in our other episode where we were talking about dreams, but where there's the whole asking of the time thing. So if you become conscious in your dream, you should ask someone the time and see how they react.
Yeah. I once actually asked someone, no, I didn't ask someone, I just kind of like, I was lucid dreaming, so I was just like dreaming, and then I'm like, oh, this is a dream. And I turned to someone and I said, do you know I know this is my dream? And they looked at me like I had just said to them that I know their biggest secret.
You did.
Like they literally looked at me like, so like just like the colour just drained out of them, like, oh my god. And they didn't say anything, and then it just carried on.
That's really weird, because imagine if like you thought you were real, right? And then you turned to me and went, Ayesha, I've realised today that this is a dream and you aren't real. But the colour wouldn't drain out of my face, so that is weird that happened. I had one, it was literally last night, where I didn't become conscious, but I looked at the time on my laptop and it was 4:05 p.m. and then some time went by and I looked at the time on my laptop and it was 4 p.m. So obviously it was after 4 o'clock and then it went back to 4 o'clock. So that almost got me. It didn't happen, and it's obviously not something I'm actively trying to do at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
But when I woke up this morning, I was like, if I was trying, that would have got me, because I'd be like, well, mate, time's not going backwards.
Yeah.
You're in a dream.
Sometimes I don't try to lucid dream every night, but sometimes I'll wake up from my dream and I'm like, how the fuck did I not realise that was a dream? Like, I don't live in North Korea, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so weird once you get into it, but shall we talk about how to do it?
Yes. Do you want to go first or
no?
me?
You go.
Okay, so the only ways I have to do it is ways that I have actually done it. So
can I ask you a quick question first?
Yeah.
Did you know about lucid dreaming before the first time you ever lucid dreamt?
No.
Okay.
No.
Neither did I.
I spoke to, I was doing it, and I was talking to some guy that I was friends with when I was a lot younger. I must have been like 19, I think, and we'd met up and I talked about it and he was like, that's lucid dreaming. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And then he explained to me what it is. That's how I then knew what it was. So yeah, I didn't actually know of it, then try and do it. So the one way to do it is, if you have nightmares, is by basically in those nightmares, I guess, I don't know if this is actually, I feel like this actually isn't a way to do it, so I feel like I need to go back to the start of how do you get your
how
mindset
did you first
there.
ever do it?
I was in a nightmare and realised
really?
this isn't real.
Oh, is it? That's almost like your fight or flight kicking in.
So I actually have a method then, right? If you look around in the day time, like going about your normal life, thinking like, right, is this real? Does this reality make sense? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Wherever you are, you're at work, right, look around, look at things. Does this make sense? Is the floor still? Is the time right? Do you know the date? Do you remember how you got there? And doing that regularly throughout the day will then make you in your dream go, does this make sense? And that, I find that really easy to do now in nightmares. You could probably do it in any dream, to be fair. I just only have nightmares to relate to because I literally only have nightmares. The only dreams that I have. It's horrible. I know. So yeah, that's one good way of doing it. Another good way, when I was actively trying to lucid dream, that I used to do was counting like my fingers and toes, like throughout the day, and you know, every hour, whatever, whenever you remember to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you count your toes, however many you've got. If you don't have 10, sorry, but just count those. And then when you then dream, because your brain like has triggers, so if you're doing something constantly in the day, when you fall asleep, your brain will then potentially do the same thing. So then if you then look like in your dream, think, oh, let me count my fingers and toes, as soon as you start counting, you'll think, I'm in a dream.
Yeah. Because
that's the trigger of consciousness, basically. I think I've got one more. What's another method that I've used? Oh, it's easy. Similar to my first one, am I dreaming? Literally, wherever you go, am I dreaming, yes or no? Am I dreaming, yes or no? And then your brain will ask yourself that question in your dream. Am I dreaming, yes or no?
Okay, so
yes.
My method's a bit different.
Oh.
First time I ever lucid dreamt, I was so young, I was probably like 6.
Oh my gosh, I was not.
Yeah, I didn't know what lucid dreaming was at the time, but I think I was just a bit of a strange child. And I remember I used to say to myself, before I go to sleep, like, oh, tonight in my dream I'm going to try and do a cartwheel. Have I already told you about this?
I don't know.
I'd say to myself like, oh, tonight in my dream I'm going to try and do a cartwheel. Like, let's just play around and like try and see.
That's really cute.
And it didn't happen, and then like I'd be like, oh, for God's sake, I forgot to do it. And then I was like,
I forgot to do it.
Yeah, like, I forgot to do it. And then like if we go to the next night, I'd be like, right, tonight in my dream I'm gonna do a cartwheel. It took about a week, and then one time I remember I was in my dream and I was walking down a corridor and I was like, oh, the cartwheel. And I did a cartwheel in my dream.
Oh.
Yeah. And then that just opened up a can of worms.
Then you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm like,
why's the floor moving? Wait, that wall.
Yeah.
There's a set behind that wall.
It wasn't quite like that. But then ever since then, I've just been able to do it like, I literally didn't learn about it for like ages after that. So I just mess around. Like sometimes I feel like, right, I'm gonna lucid dream tonight and like try and do this.
Yeah.
And try and do that. And then I just like, so as soon as I'd gained consciousness that I was like dreaming, I'd be like, oh, what's my list of things that I've been wanting to do in my dream? It got out of hand, and like I said earlier, like it was getting to the point where I was having nightmares, and I'd realised that I was in a dream and I couldn't wake myself up. I used to be able to wake myself up from lucid dreams like that. Like I didn't have nightmares for years. Like it was so good, because as soon as something like weird started happening, I was just like, peace out, like off I go. But then recently now as well, I still struggle with lucid dreaming, because I'll gain consciousness, not fucking wanting to, just trying to like enjoy my dream, gain consciousness, it'll be a nightmare, I'll be fully aware that I'm in a nightmare and I can't get out.
Yeah. Or like we were saying before, you get out but you're not awake, is that what you mean?
Yeah, sometimes like I'll wake up, or I've had it before where I'm like, somehow I knew that I lived with my boyfriend and I knew he was in the bathroom, and I woke up but wasn't actually awake, and I was crawling to the bathroom to shake him to be like, try and wake me up, and then I actually woke up and he was in the bathroom. But like, how did I know he was in the, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how did I know that he was in the bathroom and I couldn't actually wake up?
It's horrible.
It's disgusting. So yeah, I don't try to lucid dream anymore, but it still happens.
So yours is basically, I guess, similar to mine. Ask yourself a question or ask yourself to do something. So I use the counting on my fingers and toes, whereas yours could be, I'm going to try and do a cartwheel. Yeah. I'm going to try and looking at your hands. Yeah. Like looking at your hands regularly in the day.
The time's a big one that helps. I've heard a lot of people try and use the time. Like, you know, you said like you'd look at the time on your laptop and like time would go back. Like the time doesn't make any sense in your dream. Yeah. So, yeah, people use that as a way to lucid dream as well. But we're not advising it. But if you're curious,
I have more.
Oh.
I've just remembered. Another way, ways to enhance or make it more likely that you're going to lucid dream is to nap in the day, or like sleep at a time where you wouldn't normally go to sleep, or set your alarm for like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and then go back to sleep. Because if you then dream, because right, let's say you go to sleep at 11 at night and you've set your alarm for 8, you're asleep for such a long time that you're going to get to a point in the night where you actually forget that you're asleep in your dreams, if that makes sense. You're not going to think, wait, I was on the sofa 2 minutes ago. But if you have a nap in the afternoon, or you wake up and then go back to sleep, you've only got an hour. So when you do go to sleep, it's going to be more likely that you're going to remember you are asleep, if that makes sense, because you've not been asleep for very long. And apparently you're more likely to have vivid dreams as well, like if you wake up in the morning and go back to sleep, or when you nap as well. So then you're more likely going to have a vivid dream for you to have the lucid dream. But I think from my perspective, a lot of the time when I can lucid dream, it is when I've woken up. So for me to be able to become conscious, it's because I've been awake and then I've gone back to sleep. And because I can, once I start to become conscious, I can remember, oh wait, I've just gone back to sleep, or I've just had a nap. Yeah. But if it's been hours, you're probably not going to remember. Yeah. But try those. So if you really want to try it, have a nap and do it like with the intention of lucid dreaming.
But we don't advise it.
Don't we?
She advises it. Be careful.
Oh yeah, be careful.
If you're one of those people that already struggles with like sleep anxiety or night terrors, then this probably isn't the best thing for you to try. Yeah,
I wouldn't use it as a way to stop nightmares and stuff, because it doesn't work, I can tell you that.
We could tell you that one.
Yeah, it does not work for me anyway. It stops the nightmare in the moment, but that's it. Well, we're going to move on to our experiences with it properly anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
You go first.
Why do I
feel,
go first?
Because I feel like I've already told all my experiences. I can't really think of much else.
Well, I'm trying to think of other ones that I've got. Well, one in particular is where I was being chased through a hotel. A lot of my dreams involve fucking chasing, being chased, right? I feel like it must be my biggest fear. It must be. And so I'm being chased through a hotel by a man with a gun. He's chasing me, he's chasing me, he's chasing me. And I managed to get to my hotel door and slam the door shut, but he is like so close behind the point where he's banging on the door, like trying to get the door open. And I do the thing that I always seem to do. And it's interesting because a big thing about it is just as soon as you start questioning is when you actually become conscious. As soon as you start questioning the reality that you're in. So then I was like, wait, how the fuck did I get in this hotel, first of all? What hotel is this? Don't know what it's called. And where am I? I don't know what country I'm in.
Yeah.
I can see snow outside. Right. So I then, in that moment, as a reaction to the fact that I am now conscious, thought, well, who's this motherfucker outside the door then that's trying to get me? So I open the door that is banging down, grab the gun, and shoot them.
No, you did not.
Have I just confessed to murder on the podcast? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, this is a dream. Let's just clarify.
The dream police might get me.
It would just think, yeah, imagine. Don't. Anything could happen.
But yeah, that's like one of my most memorable experiences of it, because I was just like, took my power back basically.
Your lucid dreams are so much more extreme than mine. My lucid dreams are just because I'm like, at one point I thought of myself as a bit of a pro. I would literally just do things like, oh, I'm lucid dreaming, fuck it, I'm just gonna jump off this building and start flying.
That's how I wake myself up.
And then I would literally just have sex.
Yeah, I do that as well.
Dream every single night.
Yeah, they would. Most of these times, or even that one turns into a sex dream.
You shot him, and now what did you do?
Wait, no, not him, not him. But he was dead. Rest in peace.
Stepped over the body and found the guy.
The next person in the next room. Yeah, I think most of mine, sadly, come from being scared, and I think the fear is what wakes me up. Like, it's the how scared I am is what wakes me up, because the fear is like, yeah, mate, this is literally not my life, because it will be the most dramatic thing that is happening to me in the dream, like that. Like, how am I being chased through a hotel? Like, I'm not in an action movie, do you know what I mean? Like, that's not my life. My life isn't me being chased through a hotel with a gun. Like, these aren't like normal dreams of like stuff that could potentially happen to me. This is like outrageous stuff that's happening to me.
I've got some advice for if you are in a lucid dream and you find yourself in a nightmare, of how to wake yourself up.
Oh, thank you.
Just for a few of my like experiences. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fucking doesn't, and it's a mess. Anyway, my first go-to is jump off a building.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, so like, that's a common one. My next one is literally screaming at yourself to wake up.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
Don't just say it in your head. If you're in the dream, shout out loud, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I think that's all I've got, to be fair. Those don't work. Just wait it out. It'll end.
Jump off a building, but like, find any way to kill yourself. It's horrible, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, so I've even like,
but like, why does that work?
I don't know, but it's so traumatic when you think about it, because I've even like bashed my head against a wall to try and wake myself up, like bang, bang, bang. And it's like, it's horrible, because why is your brain trapping you there? I don't understand. Feels like your brain's working against you sometimes.
Well, that's what nightmares just feel like in general.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think that's us for lucid dreaming, isn't it? Like, we've told you how to do it, and we've given you our experiences, and if you do it and you have any experiences with it, write in, because we would love to know.
Oh my god, my favourite topic, please.
planetsandproblems@gmail.com.
Share your experience.
But we do have one thing left to talk about, which isn't necessarily dreaming, but it can link to dreaming, but it's just going round on TikTok like crazy. People have that have these accounts have so many followers and so many people in the comments trying it, and it is shifting. And I just recently told you about it, hadn't I?
Yeah.
Did you know about it before?
No.
Shifting is probably the short term for it. I guess the TikTok term, the nickname for it, but it's shifting reality. So it is the idea, well, it is an idea, but you know, it is backed up by physics, that there are infinite different realities where you are anything from yourself to fucking one of the Kardashians in one of the other realities. Do you know what I mean? You could be anything. So the idea is, and most people use programs to do this, like TV programs, where they shift to the reality of the program. So a big one that I've seen, I've not even watched this show, but it's Criminal Minds, which is like a investigative show where they investigate different crimes, basically. There's loads of shows like that. And people will write themselves, they'll write a script, and they'll write themselves into the scene. But the scene will literally start from like them waking up when they're there. So it will be like, I woke up this morning, blah, 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 I met X, which could be one of the characters. One of the characters might be your partner that you're in a relationship with even. They write themselves into these romantic relationships and they shift to that reality. What is interesting about it, from my perspective, what I've learned, because I've never actually done it myself, is yourself here continues whilst you are in this other reality. So it's not necessarily, people do it whilst they're asleep, or people do it before they go to sleep. That is a way of doing it, which is what made me think to bring it up in this episode. Is a way to do it is to, like, as you're going to sleep, people put subliminals on. There's all these different methods, but people will do it. They'll be in this other reality, they'll be there for however long, having this full experience. People have like full-on trauma from these realities, and they have to write into the scripts that they can't be harmed or die when they're there. And their person, their human, who they are here in this reality continues. They go to work.
Do you know what it sounds like?
Oh.
This is dissociative of DID, formerly known as split personality disorder.
Fuck. Oh my god, it does, doesn't it? But I don't want to. I don't want to.
Not exactly, but
okay.
Similar sort of thing. So if you don't know what that disorder is, it's people who have multiple. What do they call them? Because I don't want to be. I know some of the terms now aren't accepted or politically correct.
What are they called? They have different. Basically, a way of saying it without being offensive is multiple people. Like they're more than one person.
Yeah, it's like types of personalities. So they might go about the day like normal, and then they might suddenly get a call from like a friend and be like, I thought we were meeting up today, and then they'll have names for their different like personalities, and it's like they don't actually realise that they'd made those plans, but it was a different part of their personality who they might have been yesterday but don't remember who they were yesterday. I know it's not really making sense, but
no, I think it does. No, it does. Yeah. So basically, like, you would, where you go, where one part of you goes, like another consciousness comes in and takes over the day, and you are somewhere else, and people even have places like basically inside their mind that they go to. However, it's comparable and it's interesting to compare it, but I don't think there's any, I feel like that's finding a scientific explanation for something that, like, there are different realities. Like, it is actually in physics. Einstein knew that there's more than one reality. There's like infinite realities, and there must be a way for us to reach those realities, because even down to people manifesting is changing your reality. That is what it is. Especially people that are manifesting drastic things. You know, you hear these stories about people that had this life and they manifested this, this and this, and basically to manifest is to, you know, bring yourself into a different reality where you have these things.
This is a very controlled version, whereas that is an actual disorder where people really suffer.
Yeah, but what is your opinion on shifting in general, like from what you've learned, and then you can tell me a story?
Well, you only told me like a little bit about it, and then I actually just coincidentally saw a YouTube video come up, and it was something like subliminals, reality shifting.
Yeah.
I was like, let me just put it on.
Oh my god.
Because I almost like heard you telling me about it and saw it as like a challenge. I'm like, if I can lucid dream, I can fucking do anything. Like, I can do it. And I asked you if you'd done it, and you said you hadn't.
No.
And then I was kind of like, oh, that makes me think that like
You shouldn't just be doing it.
You shouldn't just be doing it.
No.
So I had a quick look at the comments in this video, and people were saying that like they didn't quite shift, but they felt a bit like disconnected and they felt a bit anxious. It only takes me one time to see the word anxiety for my brain to fucking start acting up.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, do I really want to feel anxious? So I was like, I just need to go in this with like the right frame of mind.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Bearing in mind, this was literally like the other night, and recently I've not been having the best time with my lucid dreaming, so I don't know why I thought this would be a good idea.
Are you here now?
No, I'm convinced that I died anyway.
Oh god. Okay.
So anyway, that's a whole other story. So I put it on. I don't think I'm alive. In a previous episode I mentioned that I was in like a near car accident. I think I actually died in that moment, and I don't think I'm alive right now, but anyway.
That's one reality.
Okay.
Not in this one.
So yeah, I'm listening to this thing. I put it on anyway, despite everything telling me no. And I'm like listening to it, I shut my eyes and doing what I'm told to do, like breathe in, da 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 da. And I just feel so fucking anxious.
Really?
Yeah. I literally like, oh, it was horrible. Like, I could just feel it happening like straight away. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, I don't know why, but I can just like, my brain can just do stuff so easily. Like, it doesn't take much.
We're very influential people,
Yeah.
I think. Even when it comes down, sounds silly, but like medicines. Like, if I take a medicine, every single side effect that exists, I'm getting.
Yeah.
And like, and if something, if I was to take a drug or something like that, it's gonna work on me very quickly.
Yeah.
So I think we're just like that for some reason.
Yeah, so I'm feeling so anxious, and then I start seeing things as if it couldn't get any worse. So I'm laying in bed next to my boyfriend, and I can see him get up, and I open my eyes, and he's just next to me. And I'm like,
what time of the day is this?
it's night time, it's bedtime.
And is he like, what's
He's
he
asleep,
doing?
he's out, he's like,
Oh,
he's
so
asleep next to
right.
me. But I see him with my eyes shut, like get up and start walking off. So I open my eyes, he's next to me. I'm 5 minutes into this half an hour meditation, or whatever it was. And I was like, right, okay, let's just pause. Don't think this is good for me. And I had subliminal messages playing on the TV whilst I was listening to this.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh,
I had on my phone the YouTube video in my headphones, but then also on the TV there was the subliminal messages on, so it was probably just a bit too much.
Sounds like it.
So then I just start scrolling through the comments, and like people are just like saying that like they shifted or that they felt super anxious, like anxiety like no other, and I was just there like, maybe another time.
Well, that is really interesting that you even tried to do that, and I actually love that.
I know 100% I would have been able to do it.
I
like,
told you.
without a doubt. I didn't even have anything in mind.
Oh no, I'm just impressed that you even tried, especially because I only told you about it like the other day.
I know. I regret it, but it was a lot.
That is really impressive that you tried. I haven't, because I've been too scared because of how much I've researched it. And first of all, what I'm scared of is the fact that you are supposed to write a script. So,
yeah, but I feel like
what reality were you shifting to,
Well,
honey?
because
Actually, yeah, where were you going?
Right, here's where I was going. I know other people do this. I've mentioned it before on the podcast. Like, when you go to sleep at night, you come up with like stories to like play out in your mind.
Right, so we're going to
help
one of
you sleep. I'll just whichever. Like, to be fair, I've got a pretty significant one going on at the minute where I'm like friends with these celebrities. So like, I would have just gone there. I was thinking, I barely done any research into this, so in my head I'm like, this is gonna be a fucking breeze, like I'll just fucking, off I go. Didn't quite work out like that.
Right. First of all, I love that. Most people go to TV shows, which is why I've never done it, because I don't really have any interest in going to any of the TV shows I watch. They're all scary, apart from Gilmore Girls and the Kardashians. I don't want to go Vampire Diaries, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to do that? Or American Horror Story. So that's why I've never really had an interest in doing it, but it is mostly because, yeah, you're supposed to write a script, and the script is supposed to say you can't die, you can't be harmed, you're supposed to, you're supposed to write, like I said, how the day or however long you're going to be is going to go there, and that, you know, sounds horrible, but you can't be sexually assaulted, things like that. You're supposed to write that into all that into the script, because the idea is you are going to a different reality. It is this, but just another reality. So every bad thing that can happen here probably happen there.
I was just thinking like these scenarios that I make up in my head, I was just thinking like that, but like a bit more like vivid, like a bit more like something to it.
No, I think you could go there, but you should probably be shifting.
No, but I didn't think I was gonna like black out and like be actually living the life and then come back.
That is the point, yeah.
I didn't realise that until like you literally said today.
Yeah. If anyone wants to know any more about it, there is someone called Alexa on TikTok that talks about it a lot. She's only young as well. I feel like she's only 17. She does it a lot. So, yeah, I've not had interest in doing it because I don't need to shift to those. But I am thinking, do we shift to the reality where we have exactly what we want? That's what you're doing when you're manifesting. Yeah. But you could probably just do it quicker if you used a method.
No, because that's almost admitting that it's a different reality and not the one that you're going to have this time around. I don't know.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I know, but you're not like shifting and then all of a sudden that's your life. Like these people that are shifting to like Criminal Minds don't all of a sudden have this Criminal Minds life. It's saying like that's a different reality and go into it.
You can shift and not come back.
Hell.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. That's what manifesting is. You're shifting to the reality where you have the thing. In this reality, this is your life currently. And whereas like when you're manifesting,
maybe
you're
I'll
shifting
keep going
to...
then. Why are we pissing about with Criminal Minds? Like why don't we just create your dream life?
Yeah, that's what you can.
Okay,
that's what
cool.
you can do, and that is why, you know, I think I've said on the podcast, I've definitely said to you, when you manifest, you have to be you have to accept the fact that your whole life that you've got currently can disappear for you to get your new one, because you are shifting to a different reality. Because you're shifting to a reality where this version of you doesn't exist, because this is what this version of you has. This is this version of your life, but you're shifting to a different life where you have X, X, X.
So basically, you're just shifting, but you don't come back.
Yeah.
When you're manifesting.
And, you know, scripting, what are you doing? So you're writing, when you do the manifesting method of scripting, you're scripting your life.
Okay.
You're scripting the life, the reality that you're going to go into. Manifesting coaches come for me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure they
definitely
will
link somehow.
They definitely, that is the same thing. Because yeah, that is, you're just going to the reality where you have X. Really quickly before we go, gosh, I'm getting excited, I'm pushing things over. It makes sense because I used to use this affirmation when I don't know if I mentioned this either, but I think I've told you. A few months ago, I guess in the process of when me and my ex were splitting up, a lot was going on. I didn't really know where my life was heading, and I had a good job and stuff, but I didn't really know where my life was heading. I'd moved out of our house that we lived in together, and I would go into the woods near my dad's every day with my dog, or even without my dog, and say like an affirmation that was like, I am open and I am ready to receive like the reality that is most aligned to me. So I would be saying, universe, put me in the reality that is most aligned to me. Yeah, you get 2 this week. So yeah, the sentiment of it is, universe, put me in the reality that is most aligned to me, which is like basically saying the reality that is right for me, that really is right for me. And within a month of saying that, I end up in Leeds. Literally the day that I got to Leeds is the day that I started speaking to the person that I'm with now. We spoke, we met on Tinder instantly, like that night that I got there. And like the way that my life has gone since then, in terms of like that relationship and things like that, has been so amazing. And I believe that I shifted realities.
Wow.
Because my life this time last year was completely different. My life this time 6 months ago was completely different, like in every way.
So you are reality shifter.
Yeah.
You just didn't come back, so you haven't actually realised that you did it.
Well, that's
when
kind
you go
of the-
back,
No, you don't go back.
you might, if you're not careful.
I guess in the script I'm not going back though.
I guess so.
The script that I've written, because I've told the universe to
Stick
put me
to
on
the
it.
script.
But yes, I hope you found that interesting. And like I said, if you do any lucid dreaming or any shifting, please,
Yeah, bring
please, if you've got any shifting
stories.
stories, we would love to hear shifting stories. But yeah, have you got anything else to add?
That's it from me.
Great, that's
well,
it from
update
me.
you if I'm shifting my reality.
Yeah, we might not be able to because you've gone.
When I'm not here next week, guys, I'll find a way to get in contact with you.
Right, great. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Don't forget to give us 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, follow us on Spotify, and subscribe to us on YouTube, and like and comment. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.